Today we are discussing about Fiverr. What is Fiverr? Fiverr is an online marketplace for freelance service with low cost providers from all over the world. The idea behind their brand is to streamline the process of hiring or getting hired as a freelancer. The online marketplace cuts out the middleman of hiring, firing, and HR department. Smaller businesses can get the things done on a more case-by-case basis, and freelancers have a freedom of selling their services at any time to any company. Fiverr lets clients pay in advance for gigs, which constitute any digital service ranging from WordPress design, logo design, writing services, transcriptions, to even voice-over work. When also all services were priced at $5 when the site is initially launched. Freelancer can now set their price to whatever they choose and can offer packages, deals, or gig package. How does Fiverr work? Fiverr works by letting buyer pay in advance for gigs, which are any type of freelance service ranging from web design to social media marketing to copywriting. When Fiverr first launched, all gigs were originally priced at $5, but now freelancer seller can decide to charge more or offer packages of services. Orders are typically completed within a day or two, but the delivery time is set by the seller and can take longer if the seller has a queue of orders. When your order is successfully completed, the seller will receive 80% of the total order value. For example, a $5 gigs mean the freelancer will receive $4 for a completed order. There are two ways to view the site as a freelancer or as a buyer. First, I'm going to explain the term that they use on their site, and then I'll break down how the process works for the buyer and the seller. There are two ways to view the site as a freelancer or as a buyer. First, I'm going to explain the terms they use on their site, and then I'll break down how the process works for the buyer and the seller. Fiverr terms. Gigs. A service offered on Fiverr's website. Gig example, I write you an excellent press release for $5. Seller, a registered user, freelancer who offer gigs. Buyer, a registered user who purchases gigs. When a gig is purchased, it's called an order. Post a request. A buyer requests for services, gigs, if they have a specific need. Fiverr for buyers. As a buyer, you can browse through the category pages or use the search tool to find a gig you are looking to purchase. Once you hit search on something like a translator, for example, you'll find that a list of translators pop up. Sorting through all the options can be tricky, which is why it's important to read through the description of each service offered, and take a look at their portfolio. You can also message the seller with any questions and to see if your specific project would be something that they can do. Once you are ready to make purchases, there are several ways to pay. Fiverr recommended that you go through their site in the order to make sure that the payment is secure. All purchases do have a processing fee of $1 on purchases of $20 and below 5% on gigs over $20. Once you purchase a gig, the order goes to seller. The money will only go to the seller once the order is completed. Before the order is completed, you have an option to review, potentially request charges depending on the nature the gig before the full payment goes through. Favors for seller. Seller need to set up their profile and create custom gigs to sell on the site. As a seller, you set your price and can choose to offer add-ons to your gigs to bump up the cost. Once a buyer decides to buy your order, money is taken from their account and put on hold for you until you complete the order. Seller keep 80% of what they earn on each gig they successfully sell and deliver. The more gigs you sell, the easier it will to build your seller rating on site. This means you will potentially be able to charge more for the services you offer. As a seller, you have the potential to make around $1,000 to $2,000 a month depending on how well you market yourself and how many gigs you get. For many sellers, taking advantage of skill sets already built in the workplace and offering the site is a great way to get even more experience and earn extra income. Fiverr can create a platform to help its seller called and.com and.co provide time tracking, expenses, and proposal software for sellers.